What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mike Mack,
And it's your boy Curtis, aka the Vice Captain of the Black Panthers Magic Knight Squad.
and I am the real nigga of the Black Bulls.
You don't have a rank? Well, I guess real nigga is your rank. They made a new rank just for you.
It's either that. I remember I did the one time we did that. I was like the real nigga of the Black Bulls, black man of the Straw Hats, and then my cousin watched one of my episodes. And he was like, "You do realize Usopp is technically black?" I was like, whatever, bro."
Oh man, welcome to another episode of the Black Heroes Podcast. And we got a special one for you guys.
Because it's about the Black Clover movie, Black Clover Sword of the Wizard.
I think this is the first time we actually talked about Black Clover in a podcast episode. We finally made it.
I mean, specifically.
Hey, look at us.
Yeah, we definitely have brought it up on the podcast before, but it's like specifically this is focused directly on Black. I mean, we haven't done it for My Hero either. So,
Which is crazy because they have 3 movies now. We didn't talk about them. And they were good.
I mean, when the second movie came out, I don't think we were doing the pod yet. I don't think. And the third movie, I think we just ended up seeing it at completely different times. I think you saw it right before it went out of theaters.
I did. It was mad late.
Yeah, so I mean, with that one, they only had that one out for because you remember the first one, they had to give extra days in the movie theaters for how much money it made.
But don't worry, My Hero will one day get his shine. But today is Black Clover's Day.
And as you all know, I am the avid Black Clover fan. Curtis is the pretend. I mean, he is the casual fan. Sorry. My vocabulary has been a bit mixed up nowadays.
I would have been cool if you told me I was the one that switched up. In all honesty.
But I mean, to be honest, I actually had to. I mean, because when the anime came out, 2017, and I was like everybody else with the whole Asta screaming thing. It's like I can't deal with it. But then my sister watched the dub, and she was like, "Hey, check out the dub. The dub, the voice actor is definitely not screaming all the time." So I was like, "All right, cool." And I guess I don't know. I always guess that the dub saw the reaction from the sub watchers and was like, "Okay, so now we know what not to do."
Oh my god. But before we jump into it, if you like this, please leave a comment, your own thoughts on the movie, subscribe, and let's just jump right into this review. Because the first thing I want to talk about is how they start this movie. They start you off right into the mix of it. The first minute you get to see the true terror of a Wizard King. That's an enemy.
Yeah, I mean Conrad, he by all means was captured, and he just was like, Julius was like, "Give up, Conrad, you've lost," and he's like, "You haven't seen my sword yet."
That could have been taken so, ooh, bruh.
Right?
Oh my god.
But nah, it was just super cool, and I really enjoyed it because it was really interesting to see because you don't know what Conrad's magic is. So when you see him pull out this cool looking ice looking sword, and he has these door things popping up, and he's just taking everybody on. It's literally one versus everybody. So it was really cool, man. It was just a dope showing of hey, this was Conrad. But don't forget, this is Julius. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because so this fight took place 10 years before the start of the show, and this was the tail end of the fight that we saw, where, okay, don't get me wrong, with Julius, we've never seen him truly, sweat in a fight. When we go into this fight with Patry, he wasn't mostly in control of that fight for the most part, but this is the first time we've seen Julius actually, panic. He thought, okay, I can't kill you. The only best I can do is seal you away. So to see him, in that vulnerable spot where I can't do anything really against this dude, that was actually really interesting to see from someone who is classified as one of the most broken characters in the show.
Yeah, but
needed
you also gotta
backup.
remember it's not the same. Yeah, but it's not Julius. You know, like how we know. You know what I'm saying? Like Wizard King, bro. Look at my fit. You know what I'm
But
saying?
he pretty
Like
much became Wizard King like
Julius.
right
This is
after the battle for the most part. He said like, "I'm going to succeed you as Wizard King." So he pretty much was Wizard King at that
nah.
point.
That is kind of cold though. Like you just take somebody out and you just like, by the way, your title, that's mine now.
That was kind of cold. I can't lie to you. But again, that just showed just how much of a threat like the Wizard King actually is, and the fact
Yeah,
that the show
and
has like there's multiple Wizard Kings in this movie. Like at first when I saw that, I was like, so how are they gonna win? That was my first thought.
and technically only one person won. I mean, technically, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah. So I mean, the first thing that we have to comment on obviously is the graphics of the show, like the art style and everything. Like this is a very polished movie, and you know, as everybody knows, Black Clover ran annually for 3.5, close to 4 years straight. And when you run on that, you know, on that constant cycle, you don't always look picture perfect. So it was like, how did you feel seeing a polished Black Clover product?
If you want to be honest, like I kind of feel like this is something that I wish that was there the whole time. I know it couldn't have been, but I kind of wish that we saw that this throughout the show. And I do think when the show comes back, because it's going to come back one day. Like there's no way that it can't. When it does, I hope it comes back with that same level, or at least most close to that same level of quality throughout. Like give it that bleach treatment.
Yeah, and you know, and it's funny because people were always saying like, "Oh, this is movie quality for this show. Oh, this is movie quality for that show." But you know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to actual movies, there is always a different standard. Because I saw some people, you know, and I won't really say they're haters. Maybe probably people who are indifferent to the series would be the more fair thing to say. You know, like when the trailers first dropped, they were like, "Oh, this looked just like that one good episode that Black Clover had, or it looks like this other episode that Black Clover had that was decent." And I was like, "Okay, y'all really about to come back and regret those words?" And honestly, I feel like they did, because you know, it wasn't just polished; it was consistently polished. Like I don't know, I just appreciated how well it looked, especially given the time frame and some of the constraints that the team has, because you know it's still not easy for Perot to make these products because you still got so many other big projects that's out there, and they just animators have to be, you know, so spread out. Then you got Pro itself having to deal with like Boruto while the movie is in production, Bleach that they're still working on, which is coming back in like I think a week. I think it comes back next week. So
Nice. I've
yes,
actually been doing
I'm
pretty
just
good
winning, bro.
watching Bleach so far. I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna keep watching. And with going back to Black Hole for a second. Um, oh, shit, I legit forgot I was about to say this now. Shoot, it'll come back to me. You go ahead. You go ahead and say your thoughts. It's gonna come back to me. I promise.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I actually wasn't. I was about to say that, but I was gonna wait till you started saying it, and then I was gonna like interrupt you and be like, "I wasn't finished yet."
Sorry.
I was about to be Kanye. You was about to be Taylor Swift. But nah,
Wow.
I'm gonna let you finish. but but nah, just saying like with everything that the team had to go through with like what was going on with all like, the two other projects that obviously were taking up a lot of manpower and energy. I just thought it was like a really good finished product for a series that one of the big negatives on it from a lot of people is the art and animation of it not being consistent.
Okay. Oh, brain blast! My thought came back. I feel like Black Clover is like the one show that has to constantly prove people wrong, and it always does in some way, shape, or form. You ever get that feeling?
Bro, Black Clover is Black Clover at its core. Like it literally, like Black Clover is the Black Bulls at its core. Like the show, the Black Bulls are so influential. It influences the show in real life. Like the show has to be a member of the Black Bulls.
I don't know. I've been thinking that for the longest. I feel like Black Clover doesn't get its hate, but it always proves people wrong every step of the way. Like, and I'm an example of that. It proved me wrong when I started it. Like, I thought this was gonna be like a mid show, and I started to end up loving it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like, and just to kind of dote on the success of the movie, you know, like it had like 10 million views on Netflix after the first 10 days. I think it pulled in 6 million in like the first 3 or something like that. And the movie theaters, I think it's like getting closer to hitting like $1 million US dollars in it, and it was released. Cause you know some people tried to talk down on that. They were like, "Oh wow, it couldn't break out with $1 million like Jujutsu Kaisen or Demon Slayer, blah 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 blah." But I'm sitting here like, because the way it worked, and just to give some context about how they released this film. So in Japan, they released it on Netflix and they released it in theaters. But they released it at a dramatically less number of theaters than most movies get to release on. So I think for like Jujutsu Kaisen and like Demon Slayer, they had like 400 plus theaters they were released in across the nation, and for Black Clover, they only had 100, I think. So, but even still though, even with only 100 theaters, I think it still opened up with like $400,000 on its first day.
Okay.
So
people
went
bad,
out to see it. Exactly, but you know, but people, but the optics of it, because you'll see the $400,000, but they won't mention only in 100 theaters. So people will be like, "Oh, look at that! It can't even get 500K on this first." So you know, it's like, hey, look at the rest of the optics. Then it was, I think it debuted in America, like at number 2. For about like the whole weekend, right behind Extraction 2. Which I actually gotta watch that movie. I heard it's a really good Chris Hemsworth movie. In Japan, I think it debuted at number 3, and then it took over the number 1 spot for like 4 days straight on Netflix. And in the world, it was like top 2 movie on Netflix across the world, like for like 4 days or something like that.
I mean,
so it's a large number. It's a large success. Like the movie is a really great success.
I mean, I'll give Black Clover's flowers anytime. Like when the final season came out, well, it's not the final opening of the show came out. That was trending number 1 on YouTube for a couple days, and now with the movie, that's also trending. So I think for the most part, as much as hate that the show gets, the love overshadows the hate, in my opinion. Like, the haters are loud, but minimal at best.
Yeah, and you know, and it has to persevere. So you know, I just wanted to give the shout out to the movie, give some more context on it, and this is another thing I'll give context to later on, but it'll deal with like a critique of the movie, I guess.
Okay, but to go back to the story of it, now we're in present day, and right, it's a tournament. Know what they were doing? Or like an exam?
Yeah.
Okay, where we get he went up against Natsu after he was training for a couple years. I'm sorry, bro. That when I saw that, it reminded me of Natsu from Fairy Tail. I can't even lie to you. But
I actually, be honest. Before you saw Asta's shoes, did you know that was Asta?
Of course. Of course I did.
I can't even lie, bro. Like when I saw the boot, I was like, okay, that's Asta. But when he walked up and grabbed the mask, I really wasn't paying attention to the height. So, not to mention, for some reason, the cloak made him look taller. The cloak made him seem taller. So I was like, God. who is this? And I was like, wait, hold up. How they gonna have fight somebody and it's not Asta? Like, what's going on? And so like when he grabbed the mask, I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is gonna be a good way to like sneak into the tournament. See, I thought it was Conrad to be like, yo, let me sneak up in this tournament. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you thought I was a member of the Magic Knights? Haha, bitch. So I thought it was about to be a switcheroo.
And they gave us like a small taste of what Asta versus would look like the smallest of a free sample, if you will. I really wanted more, just like I don't know, more than just like one little clash, and that was it.
It's in game, bro. You gotta that anticipation.
I know, and then before they can get into it, that's when Conrad shows up. And as much as I do love this movie, I think I have they're nitpicks at best. I think I have 3. This is the first one. He kind of shows up. Like, I mean, they explained it after the fact. When I first saw it, I'm like, so he just went from sealed to unsealed, and they're not going to talk about it. But I'm glad they did. But I kind of wish they would like show him, I guess, escaping wherever he was first, and then popped up, versus just showing up after they show. When? Because to me, it sounded like he just.
That's what that.
Say what?
No, that's what that opening scene is, right?
No, the opening scene was like him getting like captured. I don't remember seeing a scene where he bust out.
No, when the actual movie starts and you see that blue and it's like that blue atmosphere that starts to unravel itself. That's the time prison. That's the time prison breaking.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like you remember the first thing in the movie, you're in that blue field and you see like the Roman numerals and stuff floating around.
Yeah.
And it starts to like evaporate.
Oh.
Yeah, that's Conrad breaking out of the seal.
Okay. Thanks for that, because I was literally thinking like, he's just here now.
Yeah, because like when the reason I was able to pick it up is because in the anime sometimes like when they show Julius using his time magic, they show like the white lines, but normally it's not enough detail to see the Roman numerals for like a clock. So, but in the manga, that detail is in there. So when I saw the Roman numerals, I was like, okay, so this has something to do with Julius's magic.
Okay, well, like I said, that was just more so just a nitpick, and thank you for explaining that. Because even if that wasn't there, like at least they still explain it to the audience too. So we got that explanation, even if you didn't miss that part what you just said. I definitely missed it.
I mean, you don't see Conrad, so you kind of have to like put that together as it goes.
But now he's here, and he's just wreaking havoc. And he brought 3 friends with him. Edward, Jester, and fucking Funny Bunny. That's such a funny. And she's not funny. That's the worst part. Is she doesn't like. She's a super serious person. Her last name is Funny Bunny.
Unless you can kick her ass, but she'll smile. She'll smile if you can give her a fight. But yeah, it was crazy because obviously we have no idea how this is going to break down. We have no idea how this is all going to, start to unravel and everything. But yeah, so when the Wizard Kings show up, Jester, he sets up a barrier. Then they start stealing everybody's magic that's inside the barrier, and Princia, she is using her chess piece army thing to attack people in the crowd and everything like that. And yeah, it was just like crazy. So, but I ain't gonna lie, watching everybody. Well, first of all, can we talk about Asta with the action? Like, he was moving, bro. Like, they had my boy out there flexing, like, just all around with the toxic masculinity, man. Like, hey, also, I would like to give a shout out. I thought Asta was rocking that mask, bro.
Oh my god! Do you want him to keep the mask?
I thought thought he was rocking the mask, man. I was kind of with him, and he was like, "Dude, what the hell? They messed up my disguise." I was like, "Yeah, they kind of did."
Like everyone knew that was him. That was a shit disguise. It was. I mean, it was a fire-looking disguise, but still a shit disguise.
Oh, also, by the way, I just love the fact that Asta literally was breaking the law to take part of this tournament. Because he's not supposed to be in the country.
Yeah, this was the time he was exiled, right?
Yes. So I'm sitting here like, my nigga, you are a fugitive. What are you doing?
And everyone's cool with it. Literally, everyone is cool with it. So what's the...
Nah, because he has to lie about it. Because first of all, Julius ain't shit. Because I know Julius set this up. Because when Klaus is like, no way somebody is named Mass Fighter. And it's like, oh, he is. Why?
Oh my god!
But like I said, man, it was just dope, bro. And not to mention, for the Clover Kingdom, they would not have seen Asta with the toxic masculinity fit at that point, because like at that point he would have had his old fit, and he was in the Heart Kingdom. So he traveled from the Heart Kingdom, trespassed into the Clover Kingdom when he's not supposed to. And then was just walking in full criminal mode, mask and cloak.
Bruh, I feel like he could not give up the chance to 1v1 with Cause I still remember like that matchup was so close to happening. And I still remember how devastated Asta was when he saw he couldn't fight I remember that. So he had to be there. In his mind, he had to be there.
Whether or not it was going to be his villain arc or not, I don't know. That's just funny. But yeah, to get back on to
with the Wizard Kings.
Yeah, Asta.
Sorry, go ahead.
Nah, but Asta snapping right into action, was good to see. And then like that first full shot, where you get to see him like save the old man, and like muscles rippling, sword on the back, looking gangster. You know what I'm saying? But with the big smile, I was just like, it's really my boy in the anime.
It sounds like you missed him.
Emotions were flaring, man.
Oh man, it was good to see him.
And as a millennial, I need to let my emotions flow. I need to let my emotions be represented.
Just let it out, man. It's okay. It's okay, fam.
Yeah, back to the masculinity.
But with the Wizard Kings, though, I want to ask this question real quick. With the Wizard Kings, whose magic was your favorite out of the four?
I mean, Conrad's, bro. Like I can literally steal your magic and pull it out whenever I want to, and I don't lose it, unless somebody breaks the little key thing that I have. Like, bruh, that's so. Like, I can see why people would not like it, but at the same time, though, it's like, bro, I am the Avatar, bro.
Oh my god.
I am Shang Tsung.
Oh my god, bro! Wait!
It out.
You look at Conrad's story. It is kind of like a little similar to the Avatar. Like he disappeared. Everyone thought he was dead. He was gone, and just came back. Oh man!
And like yeah. So I'm sitting here like let me have been on the battlefield, and I just beat this tough general. Next thing you know, I'm gonna be like, I'm here to finish him in the background. But before I finish him, I'm gonna be like, give me your soul and your magic. And then I take it.
I guess for me, I think my favorite was actually Funny Bunny. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so I can just create my own army whenever I want.
You can call her Princia.
Huh?
You can call her Princia. Her first name is Princia.
I like Funny Bunny better, bro. I just like saying Funny Bunny. So that's going to be for me for this review.
You just don't like calling women by their name.
What you mean?
You don't want to call Marileona.
No, because...
You don't want to call Marileona.
Well, in the movie, they call her Marileona. So I can say that. So I'm going to say that now going forward. Marileona.
Whatever.
But come on, bro. That's such a funny last name.
Nah. Hey, did you watch it in sub or dub?
I watched it in dub.
Okay. Sub is actually pretty good too, but yeah, I watched it in both.
Okay. But going back, so everyone just gets overwhelmed. It was Yami, Figolion and Nozel, they was like kind of like the last line of defense, so they kind of stayed behind, and everybody retreated to what was it again? It was wasn't
Well,
William's
they got.
secret base. What was it William's secret base?
I mean, it's golden. I mean, it's the Golden Dawn secret base, but just to tell the order of it. So they got Cobb, the spatial magic user. He helped out get all the civilians out of the arena. Asta and Asta, Finral, and Noel went to a research lab. Which, hey yo, you saw when Noel like water skied over to Asta and pushed him through the portal.
Bro, I was speaking of those two. I like that little moment between them. It was just enough.
Oh, it is like that's Noelle. Like that's how she acts normally. It's like cute moment. Oh, didn't notice your back and all the muscles there, Asta. And then Asta's just like, whoa, hold up, you're right there. Like you're saying they're stealing everybody's magic. How are you feeling? Oh, I'm okay. Okay. I just wanted to make sure you were good.
Yeah, she like blushed for a moment, and then all right, it's back to work.
Nah, Asta got. I'm sorry, bro. The way they had Asta fighting was so dope because he literally was just like it was good sword play, but it looked so fun. Like Asta was just going around there slashing everything and just dodging, slashing, moving. Like it was great to see. So that action sequence was great. But yeah, like Asta Finral and Noel had to go to a research lab to try and counteract the Imperial Sword. Esselenia? I'm trying to remember I'm trying to remember the actual name of it. It started with an E. Esselenia or Esmeralda or something like that. But Esmeralda is the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Moving on.
Oh my god.
But
what? How did you bring? Wait, how did you bring her? Bring that movie into this?
It starts with an E. It's like it's something, and it's like it rolls. It's a cool ass name. The sword's name is really cool. I just don't remember how to say it. But so Julius sends Asta. Well, he actually wants to send Yami. Like, yo, Yami, go get this device you've been working on. It should help us counteract the Imperial Sword. But Yami's like, nah, fuck that. You need somebody to protect you. I'm not about to be stuck here and watch you die for a second time. So, yeah, Asta, get moving. What? Why? This is grunt work. I'm a captain. Captains don't play.
But this is also where we
yeah, I like that. I like that though.
This is where we learn of Conrad's plan. Like, and when I heard his plan, for some reason it kind of reminded me of Old Boy's plan from Dr. Stone. It's kind of like this, like we're gonna wipe everybody off the country and just bring back the people that would make the country better.
Guy from Dr. Stone. What you talking about?
Huh?
What guy from Dr. Stone?
Like the main antagonist. Wasn't that like his motivation for the beginning? I remember that. Like he just wanted to bring back certain people, and that's kind of similar to what Conrad wants to do.
Oh, Sukasa, right. He didn't want adults back into the country. He didn't want to bring adults back into the new Stone Age. Yeah.
Oh, it was just adults? Okay, I thought he was going to pick and choose like who to bring back.
No, because well, that's another thing. But you're not wrong. It is similar, so it's not like off.
And like when I heard that plan, I was like, man, like I get where you're coming from, bro. But who decides that? Like, do you decide that? Do the four of y'all have a meeting and y'all just decide like, okay, we can bring him back? That was kind of my first thought. I was like, so you're really gonna be like God for the most part?
Well, I mean, because I know one of your critiques is you felt like Asta didn't like properly respond to Conrad, but that's pretty much was Asta's point. He's like, yo, you can't do that. You can't just say I'll pick and choose who gets to be happy.
So I guess I didn't feel
that.
Though.
Before that, actually, so while they're going to the research lab and they're getting information on Conrad, finding out that he was a former Wizard King, finding out that he rebelled against the country, and then Julius stopped him, and then Julius changed up the story so that way his name wouldn't be besmirched.
Mm-hmm.
we are going in this research lab and it's this top secret thing. But how did you feel when Conrad was in the lab,
It was the second best pull-up scene in Black Clover.
bro? Because I was like, because they stopped and I was like, what is Sally doing? Because at first I thought Sally was doing some weird shit. I was like, okay, what is Sally doing? But then when Conrad was standing there, I was just like, oh, sir, how, why, what?
Bro, the only.
And then I was like,
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
nah, I was like, sir, why, what? Damn, that outfit kind of nice. Like, can we admit Conrad's drip was clean?
And you say you want to cosplay as him?
Bro, that drip clean, bro. The cloak, the shirt, the damn suit, the boots and everything, bro. That shit was clean.
Oh man, I mean, you was not wrong. I saw it was this full design. I'm like, damn, like you are the most drippiest out of the four. I think you. Like, is he more drippy than Julius at his peak?
Be. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. For the four Wizard Kings, Edward actually had my favorite outfit because it was just so
Elegant.
yeah, like it really felt like he was an old ass king, like you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so but let's not get off topic too much. But yeah, so with Conrad there, he intercepts the Black Bulls trying to get. Well, first of all, he breaks the device that's supposed to help them counteract the Imperial Sword. He beats the shit out of everybody.
Oh, I just want to throw this out there. Like, the only like pull-up scene that I think is higher than his is Xenon's when he pulled up on Yami. But that one was just legendary.
Yeah, okay, I give you. All right, I give you that one. I'll give you that one. But nah, like when Conrad kicked Asta to the ground, kicked Noelle, which by the way she blocked. Let's give Noelle some props. She blocked that kick.
She still took the force of the kick though.
That was because of the pillar. She can only block so much. Her back is only but so big.
Bro, this place they got destroyed.
But can we talk about how the way he manhandled Finral was so unnecessary? Like, I understood why he was like, because he tries to punch Finral, and Finral uses his spatial magic to block it, and Conrad's like, oh, so you want to block my attack? Well, take 3 more then, because he headbutts him, still punches him, and then he headbutts him, judo flips him, and just launches him into a bookcase.
Bro, when I saw that felt personal.
Like, he was really like, I was on a hit streak, and you messed. It's like when somebody takes you out for your kill streak in Call of Duty. It's like, bro, I almost had my UAV.
And you stole that from me.
Yeah, so, but I thought that part was cool just to see him have hands, like that was dope. But then that's where you actually get the conversation between. Well, first off, that's where we really get to see Conrad's ability to take people's magic with his key magic. So we see him go to Noelle. He sees her Sea Dragon's roar. He likes it, so he goes. He captures her, or he traps her, and he takes Sea Dragon's roar. Asta then fights him, and then Conrad, who also stole Marx's magic, now has the full backstory on Asta. So I really appreciated that too. It wasn't a thing of Conrad talking to Asta and oh, you have no magic. That's so interesting. Why don't you join my side? It was more so like, no, Asta, I know your story. You can understand me. And Asta's like, bro, you had me till you said genocide.
Well, I don't know, because you mentioned my nitpick. Like, during that conversation, it didn't feel like a battle of ideals to me, per se. It really just felt like Conrad was talking to a wall. Like, I kind of just wanted a bit more from Asta. Don't get me wrong, like, what his responses was in character, but I just wanted just a tad bit more, because I really feel like Conrad was speaking from the heart, and I kind of wanted just that back and forth conversation.
Well, and I feel like maybe if they would have had it to where Asta just responded and then attacked maybe more people, it would have been easier to, because it's a lot to focus on. you know, because you got the fight happening, and also you have the attacks going on. But you know, it's like, but that's what Asta was saying. You know, like, dude, that is insane. You can't just a king should not destroy their own country and then say, this is how I save it. Like, you're supposed to lead people to that happiness. So I thought Asta was like, yo, from my vision, this is, you know what I'm saying? Like, and not to throw extra words into it because, you know, that takes away from the situation. But yeah, just the fact that Asta's like, yeah, no, murdering everybody is not the way to go about this. I'm not about to support you killing everybody because as the Wizard King, it's your duty to protect everyone. So I thought I was like for Asta's ideal, he's just not going to agree with that. And what do you want him to do? Agree about the country being bad? Duh. Look where he's from.
Well, I'm just saying, like, well, yes, agree that the country is bad. Be like, hey, like, I understand what you're trying to do. I understand like your goal, but this just ain't it. I feel like
But I mean,
there was no
if it's a
acknowledgement of
disagreement-
Conrad from Asta, in my opinion.
I think for how Asta is set up, I thought it was a good response to just say like, you lost this right to have this the second you said you wanted to kill everybody. The second you gave up your responsibility as Wizard King, I don't have to agree with you no more because it's like that's the main thing. Like even if Asta agrees with him, like yes, this country is bad, but you want me to agree to genocide and then agree to bring back people because that's another thing Asta said. It's like that's doing nothing but glorifying yourself. That's not bringing happiness to people. That's only bringing happiness to you. And I agree with that. It's like, so what? You kill everybody, you bring them back. You say, hey, there's no more royals, there's no more nobles. It's just commoners and peasants. It's like, okay, but you murdered us. Well, I mean, yeah, I did. But I brought you back, but you murdered us.
I mean, like I said, that was just at best as a nitpick. I just wanted this a smidget more. Like a good example, like you look at Pain and Naruto. When Pain had his heart to heart with Naruto, I felt that Naruto actually understood where Pain was coming from. He disagreed with his method, but I understood where he understood where he was coming from, and I just didn't necessarily get that. At least I didn't get as much as I wish I did.
But I mean, it's two different. Yeah, but I mean that's two different characters. So and for that one, it's a bit more of a deeper connection between Pain and Naruto. Whereas Asta, he really doesn't know Conrad. So you're not about to attack me, and then I stop and be like, all right, wait, hold up. Before we continue, give me your backstory. Let me know.
Wait, Naruto doesn't know shit about Pain. You act like him and Pain were like close. They had the same masters, Naruto didn't know shit about Pain.
But that's what I'm saying though. He had that information. But he had that information that they were fellow students of Jiraiya. So he got that information from Pain after he. Now are you actually talking about when Naruto talked to Pain or when he talked to Nagato?
No, like when the first
That's
arc where Pain like literally was just telling Naruto his story and why he's doing what he's doing, and Naruto
when Naruto was stabbed into the ground,
and he still acknowledged that like he understood like where Pain was coming from. You felt that.
I don't remember him acknowledging nothing why he had those damn sticks in his
He
damn
did. Go back and watch it.
Because like as soon as that happens, like Hinata tries to save Naruto and Naruto goes apeshit.
Bro, you can literally see it in his face, like he literally is understanding what this man is saying.
Oh no, wait. So now we're doing facial expressions because when Conrad brought up the fact that Asta was being persecuted against, and Asta, that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to Asta, nobody is going to understand that. Nobody's going to understand how unfair this world is more than Asta. But that still doesn't give you the right to do disturbing things. You can't say, hey, this bad thing happened to me, so now I'm going to commit genocide and then play God and pick who deserves to be happy. Asta's like, no, I'm from the mud. I'm literally from, like, the poorest place in this country.
Right. You said that I brought a facial expression. Yeah, I would even took that. It's like him, just like literally, like for a second, that you see in his face, like, okay, I understand your goal, but your method is wrong. Just for a second.
but I mean, when Conrad says that, they have Asa has the flashback of being in that trial, and he's like, and then he's like, no, that's still crazy. You can't. This is insane. You can't kill everybody for that. I'm mad, sure, but I can't just go out and kill all the people that was in that parliament. I can't go and kill Damnatio. Well, the only thing I can do, and the way Asta operates, he has to prove that he's different. He has to prove that yes, you can respect me. So I think just for how he is, and just for how he responded, that was the thing I got from it. Like, no, you're violating my ideal of what a Wizard King is, and you messed up on what the Wizard King is supposed to do. So I don't know. I just thought that was good. But I mean, just to move on to the story, back to the story and everything like that. So Asta, he gets into it with Conrad. He puts up a decent resistance for a while. I can't say decent fight. It's more so a resistance. The Conrad whooped Asta. Let's just put it like that.
It was a squash match.
Yeah, like that. And I mean, granted, everybody likes to say anti-magic is so overpowered, but with someone like Conrad who isn't going to run out of magic thanks to the Imperial Sword and all the magic that he stole from people and all the types of magic that he had available, he beat Asta. And then they have to work together. Finral, Noel, Finral, and Sekre, they have to work together to get out of that situation. So I like the fact that after all this stuff going on, you had another moment to just kind of stop and think of what's going on, because it's like you said, it starts off with action right out the jump, but then next thing you know, we spend about 10 minutes getting information from Nero about Conrad. Then we had the big action thing, but then we also had the time where we go to the Golden Dawn hideout and we see Noelle having a bit of trouble with her magic now that her spells have been taken. We see Asta have to motivate some of the other magic knights who are like, nigga, what are we supposed to do? And I love that moment, by the way. I really did love that.
Does Asta have the best speech among the shonen protagonists? He's pretty up there. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was pretty hyped after his speech. I felt like I was in there with him.
And the thing I loved about it was just the fact that Asta didn't sugarcoat how bad the situation was. It's like, yeah, this is bad. This is former Wizard Kings. We don't have our Wizard King. Our captains are captured. But listen, we really can't just let people die. We have to try. And I love that part. And it's like, as Magic Knights of this country, we either fight for the country or we die for the country. But if you don't want to do that, you can bow out. You can go to the Heart Kingdom. You can go somewhere else. Just escape. That's cool. So I like the fact that instead of like a Erwin situation, Erwin's like, hey, die for humanity. What's the other option? Die by my hand.
I'm glad you brought up AOT.
Erwin didn't say that. But that's like, it feels like that would have been the only other response.
I'm glad you brought up AOT, because I'm really thinking about it. I'm like out of all the shonen protagonists, who gives like the best speech? And there's a part of him that wanted to say Aaron from season 1, because like Aaron has some pretty good speeches, but his speeches are more so like he's talking to one person and everyone is just so they can hearing distance. Where in this situation, also literally like rallying the troops, like he's talking directly to every single person, giving every single person there at least a little bit of hope, enough hope to keep moving forward and keep fighting.
Yeah, and I appreciate it a lot because it's good to see that maturity level in Asta. Like, I don't think episode 1 Asta would be able to give that type of speech, but post Elf arc Asta can, thanks to the maturity and stuff that he's garnered. So yeah, I like that, but I also just enjoyed that time frame for them to stop, strategize. I mean, that's where Mary Leona comes back in. So I was just like, yes.
I will say, yep, your number one crush in in the show.
My queen. But nah. So you see Jack, William, Charlotte. You see the other captains, which I appreciated because it answered that question of like, okay, where were y'all while we were getting our asses kicked?
Yeah, I'm glad they explained that too, because I was kind of thinking the same thing. I'm like, we're missing some folks here, but like they explained they was off doing missions, which that makes sense. I mean, they're Imaginary captains, so of course they would go on missions.
Yeah. So I feel like that was really I thought that was nicely done. And then when you when they get the opportunity to really like look at the situation, they're like, okay, what all is captured? Okay, Yami, Nozel, Frigolion, they've been captured. Julius is captured. We need a way to mobilize. Oh, cool, the Black Bulls base. All right, yeah, let's use that. And it was just a good way to just stop and let everybody build up back to a plan. So it's not like going in blind, or it's not like going in guns blazing, no idea what we're doing. So I like how they did that.
And for the ending, what do you think of the matchups? Like each one, I think it was like pretty good matchups for all of them.
Yeah, yeah, and so after you have the plan set up, you do that. They do the thing where they go back to infiltrate or to go and counterattack the Wizard Kings. Some of them try to stop them. I actually appreciate a lot of teamwork that was going on. And then once they did that, that's where you had everybody's matchup pretty much set. So you had Asta going directly for Conrad. And honestly, I feel like it was going to be like an Asta Yuno versus Conrad thing. But, with Jester, that was the way it got split up, because was like, all right, Asta, you go after Conrad. I'll take Jester. So, Asta versus Conrad, versus Jester, which then turned into Yami, Nozel, and Frigolion versus Jester. The Black Bulls went up against Edward, and Mary Leona went up against her dream idol, Princia.
Her low key ancestor.
Well, I mean, they're not related, but they. Oh, sorry, you were saying a joke. Sorry, but no, it is. I ain't gonna lie though, it was really cool because we don't get to see this type of Mary Leona. Like, I really feel like I keep messing that up. But yeah,
Well, I mean,
Mary
okay,
Leona, like,
is it pronounced that way? Maybe in the dub is different. I hear Marileona. I don't hear that extra syllable. Like,
for me when I first watched it in sub, they pronounced the O. So I just kind of got used to saying the O.
I guess it's better than marinara sauce.
Whatever. But yeah, so seeing Mary Leona like actually fangirling, and I mean it doesn't look like fangirling with her facial expression, but the fact that she was speaking so highly of somebody is just like, oh, she's having the time of her life right now.
Oh, they was having a ball. Like,
as I'm saying, like she was just like when she said her name, Pretty a Funny Bunny. Like I was just like, oh yeah, that's how you. Like, that's how. If I ever met Derrick Rose, I'd be like, Derrick Rose. You know what I mean? Like I would. You know what I'm saying? So I really felt like she was fangirling, but she knew she was like having the chance of a lifetime to go up against him. And Frigolion actually stated it early in the movie. He was like, oh yeah, in my grandfather's records, they describe Princey of Funny Bunny's abilities and her achievements, and my sister raved about those. And I was like, oh, so she was a fan. And then when she actually got to meet her, I was like, oh, she is a fan.
Probably the first time she fangirled in her life.
Yeah, right? So, that was great. But the matchups, I just thought the matchups were really cool. I mean, seeing get to work with Yami. First of all, Yami was hilarious throughout this whole movie. Like, when Yami was like, hey, pretty boy, next time you save me, you better save me like a good damsel in distress that I am.
He said that.
You better treat me delicately.
Oh, man. That's a you type of response. That's something that you would say. Like, if I saved you, I can picture you saying that to me after I saved you.
It's like, oh, you had to be kind of rough, didn't you? Like, sir, please. I am delicate.
But the fights themselves were done really well because like there were a bunch of times where like you think the fight's over and they're going to win, but then it kicks up a whole new gear, and it kept doing it and doing it.
Yeah, and I really appreciated the fact that like for the one thing that some of the fans I feel are forgetting is that the Wizard Kings were also equipped with unending magic. They really siphoned the magic off of all the captains, especially Yami, Frigolion, and Nozel. Those are three royal level mana capacities. So you're talking about three of the highest mana capacities in the story, and they've been drained all day. That's like if you go and rob a gas station of gas, like, and you would just have all day to siphon their gas. You're not gonna go fill up no time soon. Like you're not gonna go back to a gas station anytime soon.
Now,
Hey man, you going to Exxon? No, I'm going to my backyard.
now one thing is, man, everybody put a lot of faith in Asta because he was the only one who had actual 1v1. When I saw that, I get it, main protagonist, I know. But I kind of felt like he should have had some type of backup. I mean, it all worked out in the end, but I was like, you could have had a buddy.
I don't know. I appreciated Asta just getting the chance to run that back, like, cause Asta normally doesn't get the chance to have 1v1s, and normally when he does, they kind of go the first way and win against Conrad, So I was happy that he got the chance to run that back. He had to struggle, and I know you said you had an issue with Asta winning, but in all honesty, he really just got the hit in, and he hit the Imperial Sword. So he stopped the Imperial Sword, but Conrad, now that he kind of lost that edge, went to that final move. So Conrad could have just kept fighting the way he wanted to fight, but he's like, no, okay, I don't have the Imperial Sword no more. I'm just gonna blow up the fucking country.
Well, I guess this nitpick is like me trying to defend, to a certain degree. Because I feel like in the end, I feel like, either should have A, been on Asta against Conrad, or B, should have beaten Jester. He didn't beat Jester. He pretty much survived Jester. He outlasted Jester. But I mean, I'm sorry, I know. I'm going to keep saying the last name. Funny Bunny lost. Edward lost. Jester didn't lose. Technically speaking, he just ran out of time. So I kind of, because it made the actual, like, ending, I don't know, this made it weird to me, because, like, to me, it didn't feel like, and Asta were, like, they always trying to build them up as equals, and it didn't feel like there was equals no more. I feel like if they did fight, obviously Asta's going to win, no question. But I kind of wanted them to build, up the same way they built Asta up to a certain degree. No, you're not as much, but at least close enough where, like, if they fought, it would still be like a who would win type situation. So I guess I'm thinking more, like, long-term. I kind of, like, because I always still we get like to the very ending to like kind of dissect that a bit more. But that's just like the only main nitpick. I just want to guess to either get that dub or be there with Asta and also get that dub. I just wanted to get a dub.
Well, I mean, to give some credit, when Asta got that hit in on Conrad, they were doing straight sword play. So just to be fair, it was that moment where where Asta is kind of like on even ground. And then he was able to get that hit in. So, stayed fighting Jester on a magic level. So Jester was always using his magic, whereas in that last piece, Asta was they were kind of playing on Asta's playing field. Where Conrad wasn't no joke either. So Conrad was also, doing his shit. Because Conrad could fight. I was very happy about that. Like, the fact that he could really fight just had me, like, happy. Like, honestly, without magic, he could still fight.
You made the joke earlier, but now I think about it, my man really was the Avatar. Like, that form he took during the fight with Asta. That legit reminded me of Aang when he went up against Ozai.
Yeah, so, I mean, but that's the cool thing about it. Like, it felt like all the fights were just done in such a good way. Like, with the Black Bulls, it was set up to where you saw them having to rally around each other. And that, that team element of the Black Bulls against a strong opponent. And then with Noel coming in at the last moment, and I know you don't like giving him his props, but Ghost really helped out when he made those Noel clones because to be honest, they was not winning that without Noel.
God, I was really hoping we was gonna get through this without you saying his name.
Whatever. They were struggling without Noel. Hey, I ain't gonna lie though. It was, and not to take up too much time, but this was funny. I saw somebody on Twitter who like raved about the part where Ghost saved Gray. It was just like, oh yeah, Ghost caught his lady, and Finral just threw Gordon. I was like, that is funny. That is nice. Like, he was handling, like he was being very gentle with Gray. He gave Gray the treatment Yami wanted, so that was nice.
Oh,
But,
by the way,
yeah.
what is the name of opening 1 for Black Clover?
Haruka Mirai.
Bro, that is the You Say Run of Black Clover. Whenever something epic happens, that shit plays, and I just get hyped every time. It never fails.
Fun fact, actually, do you remember what the last episode for the anime was called?
I forgot, but I feel like I should know it. I feel like once you say it, it's gonna just click instantly. It's
the episode title is The Faraway Future. Guess what Haruka Mirai translates to?
that same line.
The same line. So that was like, so when the anime episode dropped, that's what made it so special. Because not only did you have a new version of Haruka Mirai, which now I think it's like 3. I think the movie version was actually different too. But like the fact that the episode title was also the title of the opening, the first opening was like dope. Plus the opening played in it. But yeah, no. So I feel like when it came down to Edward's fight, it was cool because like Edward was beasting on him until Noel showed up, and he finally had to fight somebody on his level, like or on his strength level. So, but I also like the fact that with all the fights, it really touched on what each Wizard King didn't have the opportunity to get while they were alive. So when Noel was like, you don't have the right to just kill people. Nobody has that right. And Edward's like, well, that's true, but that's not what I had. Because, like in his fight, they showed that quick thing of like him on the ground and it was a burning church. And, obviously it was a dead child's hand, which is honestly really dark. For Princia, she's like, fighting Marileona, it's like, oh, having somebody as my equal who enjoys fighting just as me, if you would have been around while I was alive, I wouldn't have been isolated so much, and people wouldn't have been afraid of me. Or at least I would have had somebody that wasn't afraid of me.
She just wanted a friend.
And then for Jester, it's like, if I would have had reliable people like you at my side, maybe I could have came out a bit different. And I'll explain that part later with like the backstories because it's extra content that was provided to Japanese fans, not to English fans, but whatever. But yeah, what was your favorite final fight though? What was your favorite fight out of those 4?
Honestly, the Jester fight. Honestly, I know that Funny Bunny is my favorite. Oh, she had my favorite ability. My favorite Wizard King was Jester. He was hilarious, and like I said, he was actually the only one that really didn't take an L. Well, I guess you can say he took an L, but he really just fought until he just time's up, and he held his own pretty good. And like when you think of barrier match, you didn't think like it would be that impressive, but he made that shit super impressive. Like I loved seeing him fight.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Jester definitely showed a lot of, because first of all, he was sword fighting with Yami. Let's talk about that.
He did, and like, and he held his own.
Now, granted, Yami was tired, and I think people don't factor this in when they talk about this part. Yami, Nozel, and Fergolion were running on fumes. They were drained of their energy. They were tired. But and Jester was like full power the whole time. So the only people that didn't have a handicap was Jester and Yuno. Yuno was just a bit more inexperienced, and Jester just wasn't going to run out of magic. So, like the fact that Jester was just going into this sword fight with Yami, I know he had to have been like, man, let me go take a dump and get some food, man. Like, this fight would be different, bro. This fight would be different. I'm different, bro. You just don't know it. But I like that part with Edward. It was more so like, I would say Edward is more like a gracious defeat. Like, okay, I see. Like, you're a royal, but you understand compassion. So like, once he understood Noel a bit better, or once he understood like what Noel, because he actually didn't want to fight him. I actually appreciated that a lot. Like, just like Edward was like, all right, listen, I can tell you were good people, so just go somewhere else, okay? Don't die. I like y'all seem like good, generally good people, so scamper away, and we won't have to worry about
Scamper away. But he did show
it.
like a lot of honor in that. Like you said, he didn't want to fight them. He really wanted them to live. So when they still was resisting him, he was like, I guess I'll fight you.
Yeah, so I think with Edward, it was more so like a gracious bow out because no one even said it. You know, it's like, hey, do you want to keep going? I can keep this up all day. And Edward is like, bitch, me too.
Okay, I'm gonna lie to you. When she
But
said
just
that,
the
my
fact,
first thought was that Captain America line in Civil War, and he was like, I could do this all day. That was my first thought. I was like, oh my god, the her Cap moment.
yeah. So and that's the thing. Like, it was really cool to see that. So, and with Princia and Mariona, they kind of just fought to a draw. I consider that a draw because I think Mariona was tired and Princia was just like, ah, that was a good ass fight.
I saw it more as like, yeah, I guess it was a draw, but she did admit defeat for the most part. It kind of reminded me of Naruto and Sasuke's battle, where like it pretty much was a draw, but Sasuke just admitted defeat. So I guess you just give that nod to Naruto. So like, I can see it kind of on that same playing field, where like they both were spent, but one of them acknowledged defeat.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, Princia was about to evaporate, so it's not too much she could have did else.
I mean, she could have did a lot. She could have anything else, but she said, you know what, I lost to school.
But yeah, so I appreciate that. But to talk about like the last moment with Asta and Conrad, like Conrad beasted on Asta again, like not to even like sugarcoat it. Because even Levy said he was like, damn, this nigga about to die again. Like,
I wonder what he's
all right,
thinking like
fine.
the whole
I'll give
entire
him.
time. Like,
Like he was just sitting like he like paid attention for the first time. It was just like, damn son, like this is the second time you about to lose to this nigga. You know what? All right, let me help you out a little bit. So I like how you did that. And then for that moment, it was cool just to see the Asta on a full, like with Conrad going all out. Asta still was not on that level, but when it got down to just plain swordsmanship and a plain conversation, where it's like, Asta, you have to understand, you are my son.
oh my god.
Nah, I'm sorry. That is kind of how it felt like. Like if you like going back to the lab thing where Asta said the line, never giving up is my magic, and Conrad heard it. He's like, oh shit, is this my son?
Oh no! Like, could you imagine if he said that for real?
Like, nah, that would have been hilarious, bro. But no, just the fact that but just the fact they were on that level and Conrad had that much respect for Asta. He's like, I'm not asking you to join my side for your anti-magic. I'm not asking you to join my side as a pity. I really see myself in you. And Asta is like, I'm sorry. Like, no, bro. You are trying to do something I would never do. So I can't, like, no, we are not on the same side. We're not on the same mind. Like, the second your mind went there, that's where we disconnect. So I just like the fact that, like, Asta put that, for me, Asta was just like, I'm making changes in this country. I have royals on my side. I have nobles on my side. I got commoners on my side. I'm from the peasant lands, you know what I'm saying? Hodge 834, you know what I mean? Like, I'm making these moves. And once I become Wizard King, I can do even more. And Conrad's like, yeah, but that's small. That's small. It's like at the heart of it, you can't change this country. He's like, well, look, I will do it. I'm doing it now, so I'm gonna keep doing it. And so I just like the fact that Asta pointed that out. It's like, yo, look at what we're doing now. Look at the battlefield. You know, who's considered a commoner still at this point. He's working with two nobles and a foreigner. Noelle, she's a royal. Edward hates royals. Edward actually died because he was going on a rampage killing royals. Mary Leona is fighting. Well, she never cared about status, but she's a royal fighting to protect the kingdom. He's like, bro, I'm doing it. Like what you gave up on, I'm making it happen. So yeah, I'll never have to divert from my path like you did. So I like the fact that that was in that. I just like the fact that Asta really was like he is the proof against what Conrad is saying.
And I think Conrad acknowledged it like fully, like in his final moments. You can hear like his monologue, like where he actually like is now on board with what Asta is trying to do, and actually kind of like tells him, yeah, you'll be the Wizard King, and actually starts to believe in him. And I thought
And
that was a nice
sometimes you
moment.
get lost. Yeah, and sometimes you get lost in your anger. Because when Conrad saw, like when the pendant opened and Conrad saw the picture of his wife and his squad, sometimes, excuse me, sometimes you need that moment to like remind you what you did this, like to remind you where it all started. So I feel like with Asta, he's like, I really just can't let you destroy this country, and you can't kill people like that, man. So I just like the fact that like at the end, Conrad was like, you know what? Maybe you will do it. All right, you won't fight, you won't fail like I did.
Yeah, 'cause with
So
Conrad's plan, like when you think about it, let's say he succeeded, right? Where would it stop? Like, would it stop with the country? Would he try to do that to another country? Try to take over a whole new country?
like, what's your response? Um, what's your response to understanding Conrad was upset about his squad and wife being killed, but still not having the right to decide who gets to live and die in this world?
I mean, at its core, it's kind of like, oh, you had a bad day, and so you think you have the right to take it out on everybody else. You're lashing out at everyone else because of your own personal tragedy. It kind of reminded me of, it was either episode of Arrow or episode of The Flash. I want to say episode of Arrow where Barry sees Oliver like interrogating someone, basically torturing someone, and they have a nice little argument, and he was like, and Oliver's like, oh yeah, like my mom was killed, everyone around me like was killed, and Barry clapped back like, my mom was killed too, but I don't use my own personal tragedies as an excuse to want to hurt others. So it's kind of like that philosophy.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like you can only push somebody so far. I mean, with Conrad, it's not just the fact that he like that happened. It's also the fact that like he was always looked down upon because of his magic. Because by itself is super weak. But then in hindsight, it's like you're gonna take my magic and use it. Like, why would I let you take my magic? Well, I'm gonna give it back. How do I know that? Don't be an asshole. And I give it back. Like, so it's that fear factor into it, and it's like and it kind of goes back to what Yami said way back when he first met Asta. It's like people are going to fear the unknown. People are going to fear, and it's not even the thing of what Yami said. It's just a general fact. Like you're going to fear what you don't understand. So for Conrad, he definitely had to deal with a lot of persecution for that. But then just the fact that like after that, when he becomes wizard, or when he has his own squad and he's trying to, because Conrad was the one who allowed commoners to join into what you call it, into the Magic Knights.
Yeah.
Because Zora's father was the first one that became the first commoner Magic Knight, but Conrad was the one that actually like allowed that to happen. So yeah, you just had this situation where Conrad, after everything he dealt with from the nobility and the royals, you know, he was just like, all right, fine then. I was cool with y'all hating on me, but now y'all gonna kill my people. So how about I just take y'all out the equation?
Like, it's still
So
crazy
you
that
got
his whole entire squad was just wiped out completely. I
yeah,
feel like the White
because
Scorpions would
and
have been
it's
cool
by
to
the
see.
royals. Nah, I ain't gonna lie, that is a cool name though.
Like, I kind of
Them
hope
cloaks. The cloak
they.
was kind of ugly.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I
That
just hope they bring it
triangle.
back, like, somehow. Maybe towards the end of the series, they Asta reinstates it. That would be kind of a cool tie back.
I mean, maybe so. I mean, that could be. And Sabato loves doing that with side stories and including them into the main story. So it could happen. Uh, but yeah, so I just think I don't know. I think when it came down to Asta and Conrad, I thought they had a good dynamic. I thought that the fact they mirrored like they mirrored each other so well was really cool. You know, and to give some extra context, and I'll try to run through this quickly so we don't take up too much time. Um, the in Japan for the theater release, they also gave a light novel that gave backstory on Conrad, pretty much all the Wizard Kings, and there was also a side story to help tie in the movie to to like to really bring it a part of the storyline. So the movie takes place 3 months after the Heart Kingdom training starts, right?
Yeah.
All right. So with Conrad, Conrad was from a small noble family. With his key magic having the first of all, with his key magic by itself not really having an ability, a lot of people looked down on him and called him weak. But when he found out he could actually use other people's magics, that's when they got skeptical of him. Like, yeah, we're not just going to give you our magic, So he actually had to deal with a lot of persecution due to his magic type. So a lot of people looked down on him or didn't trust him. So when he became a Magic Knight, he started gaining other people's abilities off the battlefield, and then that's how he was able to gain more fame and recognition from his use of the different types of magic. He also didn't have any issue with accepting commoners. So he was very friendly with commoners, and he was kind of building up commoners. However, with the royal faction not liking his magic, and also not liking how he was trying to like build up the social status of commoners and everybody, they then conspired against him to set up an ambush where his squad and his wife were killed.
See, why did they bring it to the states? That would have been a lot of good context.
I'll talk about that later. But yeah, so that's Conrad. For Edward, Edward was actually a priest. He didn't grow up a Magic Knight. So he was a priest that ran a church kind of on the outskirts of the country. The Diamond Kingdom was attacking and invading. Edward tried to reach out to get help, but because of the fact that his church was on the outskirts of the country, nobody sent in help. So his church was destroyed, and the orphan kids he was taking care of were all killed. From there, Edward then became a Magic Knight at an old age. I think they said he became a Magic Knight at like 40 years old or something like that.
Yeah, 'cause I looked
Uh,
him up when he died. Well, yes, the
he
first time
was,
he was 66. So yeah, he
yeah,
started
yeah.
pretty
So
late.
yeah, but that's the amazing thing. So, and as you know, when you get older, your natural mana reserves like drop, but you become better at using the mana in nature. That's why his mana zone was so powerful. And he rose through the ranks, even as an older man, became captain, and then eventually became Wizard King. And while he was Wizard King, he was building up churches throughout the nation. However, due to the fact that he's building this up and it's throughout like the commoner areas, the royal faction didn't like that, and they also set up to have another church of his destroyed. And when he found out they were behind this one, he retaliated and was actually going on a killing spree of nobles and royals. And eventually they had to set up a trap to, seal his magic and kill him. So that's why it was so important for him to fight against Noel. Because he was like, oh, you're a royal, but you have empathy. You're not selfish. Alright, I can trust that. I can trust you. So, yeah, he accepted her as his granddaughter. It's kind of funny.
Wow.
I don't know. It's funny, bro. Asta is Conrad's son. Noelle is Edward's granddaughter. But
so who is Jester?
they do look alike. They do look alike a little bit. Jester and are just cousins. But nah. But speaking of Jester, Jester actually didn't have that hard of a life. He actually joined the Magic Knights. He had two friends with him. One of his friends came from the common realm, like he was a small noble name, but he was actually a part of that. He was rich enough to where he had enough money to where he could be considered a noble, pretty much. So Jester actually made it to Wizard King pretty quickly, and his first friend, who was from the common realm, his village was attacked by the Diamond Kingdom, so Jester went out to help, but sadly he lost his first friend in that attack. His second friend was actually a spy for the Diamond Kingdom. So Jester was then forced to go and so his friend was a spy and pretty much tried to set up a ambush to kill Jester. But Jester was able to win that fight. Jester then wanted to go and conquer all the nations. So he was that's why he was so good at fighting, because he wanted to just take over all the kingdoms. So the Spade, Diamond, and Heart Kingdom, he was really gonna be emperor. He was gonna be the Magic Emperor, which is kind of funny now that I think about it. But sadly, due to his warmongering ways, the royal faction didn't trust him, and they also set up an ambush for him that eventually did get him killed. Also, do you know Jester was only 23?
Actually, I looked up each one beforehand. I think Funny Bunny was only 22. So that's insane to me.
Yeah, so for Princia, she was from a small noble family. No, she was from a noble family, but somebody killed her parents and stole her family's land. Well, no, I think her parents were still alive, actually. So, but either way, she lost her noble land. They then lived on the outskirts of the country. Princia, she became a Magic Knight. She rose the ranks of Captain and Wizard King. But then the Diamond Kingdom attacked her hometown that she moved to. But her advisors did not inform her of that. So when she finally found out her hometown had been destroyed, she went on a rampage. And when she went on a rampage, they sealed away her magic. And they also stripped her of being a Wizard King. So she then moved and helped to rebuild her hometown. But when the Diamond Kingdom came to attack again, she went out and fought against those mages with no magic, and that's how she lost her life.
Wow. I feel like we kind of need... Okay, I feel like that's too much for a movie. But I kind of wish we kind of got some of that. When Black Clover comes back, do you think they should take this movie and kind of integrate it into the show, or just go straight to the Spade art?
Nah, I mean, with that'd be a bit too messy, because what comes after literally what comes after the last episode of Black Clover is the attack on the Spade Kingdom. So there is no space to do that.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Yeah,
But I mean, that
and
sounds
the
like
last
really interesting. Like I wouldn't mind seeing more of it.
well, the thing I would want to see actually, like what actually ties it in, because I know you also had an issue with like at the end of the movie where just makes Asta, Yuno's like, hey, forget that guy, and Asta's like, all right. Um, the actual thing that happens in the light novel is that Asta is training before he heads back to the Heart Kingdom. He's training with the Black Bulls, and they do like a mock battle. And Asta at first is doing great, but then Julius starts strategizing for the Black Bulls, and they actually start giving Asta a run for his money. And then Yami steps in, and Asta and Yami have a battle. And obviously Asta loses, but he put up a really good fight against Yami. Well, not like a really good fight. He did good against Yami, pretty much.
He tried, and that's all
He did
that
not
matters.
he didn't just get stomped. So, but then Asta and Julius have a conversation where Asta gets more information on the Wizard Kings, what they did. He understands. Now, this part, I hope they can bring into the story. So it's like Asta gets a better understanding of what the Wizard Kings tried to accomplish and what they did, because for Princia, she actually pretty much stopped like all the fighting for a little bit for like all the nations. Edward, like I said, he built up the churches and everything to give more kids that lost their homes a place to live. Jester, with his strategies, they just were gaining upper hands against a lot of the other nations. And Conrad, he was building up some of the social standing for a lot of people in the nation. So Asta understood better what it really means to be a wizard.
See, I wish we got that. Like, I can only base off of like what I seen in the movie. Like, and I just wish there was that in there. Like, I'm glad that context is there, but like, if you just look at the movie as a whole, like that's what we have to judge, and that's not in there, unfortunately.
I mean, and that's and I feel like with the way Shueisha set it up, or with the way that the studio set it up, since it's like, hey, we'll do the light novel thing, but then Shueisha doesn't make sure that everybody can get access to this light novel. It's like, oh, cool, you can watch this on Netflix, but if you want a bit more backstory on the Wizard Kings and you want an extra side story to help tie the story in, go to your local store and get the novel, and you can flip through that, get the information. Because like the movie, I feel like the movie does what it's supposed to do. It presents something quick, fast, easy, boom.
So let's talk about like the true ending of the movie real quick. So in your opinion, how did that little skirmish between Asta and like ended in your mind? What's your head canon?
My mind? At that point, I would say they're even.
Okay. So you think they just
because everybody
clash in the stop?
Everybody thinks. No, I mean they probably had they are also right at their home, so I'm pretty sure eventually like either Sister Lily or Father Orsi stepped up and was like, boys, we're rebuilding this place. Stop. It's like, boys, we almost got destroyed once yesterday. Please, give us at least a week before we're almost destroyed. Yeah, so I think because everybody thinks Asta would just stomp, but I'm like, no, is a great strategist. Like, he could make that fight interesting. Like, that fight would always be interesting. So, I think the only time Asta really was at a disadvantage when it comes to, when he just had one sword. But I think they did a pretty good job. Like, even now, like, just be like, hey, if Asta and had to go to battle, Asta could lose, but then again, could lose. So, I think it'd be an interesting fight. Who I'd give it to? If they had to, let's say they went at it just full on, didn't get stopped. I'd probably give it to
Really?
That strategy.
Really?
Hey man, strategy wins, bro.
Right. I don't know, man. I don't.
And
Like,
Yuno's a crafty bastard, man.
like I want. Trust me, I want to give it to but like I don't know. Like I think right now, in the terms of the movie, Asta is stronger than Like that's what I got out of it.
Nah, because Asta lost when Conrad used everything at his disposal. Asta lost. When Conrad just went sword to sword. That's when Asta got a hit in, and that's why I keep saying, Curtis, Asta did not. Only thing that stopped Conrad was the fact that he used the last bit of his life to set up that meteor.
But it's just the sole fact, Mike, that every other like fight besides Merliona, but this Merliona, I give you that, was pretty much a team effort. Asta is not on her level at all. So I just think it would have made more sense for him to have, a partner against one of the strongest Wizard Kings ever.
Nah, fuck that, man. Every other MC gets to have their own fight in their movie. Asta gets to have his own fight in the movie too.
But then you always tell me that like Black Clover mostly focuses on team battles instead of 1v1s anyway.
Hey, listen. Asta needs his time to shine sometimes, man. Like
that's why like again, this like even with my nitpicks, I love this movie. Like I enjoyed myself watching this movie, and that's why I can forgive that because he does need his time to shine, and he got his time to shine. He really did.
Yeah, man. Let my boy write. It's his first movie. You know what I mean? Let my boy get some time to just really be able to. Because honestly, if they're able to do another time skip, I mean, obviously it would be very weird and very hard to set up an opponent to match Asta. But if they had the opportunity to do another movie for the year and a half time skip before we get to the final arc, I would be cool with that too. Because a lot can happen in a year and a half. But yeah, so I just think with that last piece of the movie, I think it really helped to just kind of reaffirm the beginning. And I love the fact that it ended where it starts, where the story starts. So it starts in Hodge Village, and the movie ends in Hodge Village. So I like the fact that like Asta and Yuno are together. They're at home. They're not helping to rebuild.
Wish they could.
I'm sorry, bro. That was kind of funny to me because everybody was working to rebuild it, and Asta and Yuno are like, bro, listen, we saved y'all, okay?
That was the work.
It's like y'all get to rebuild because y'all didn't die because of us.
Oh my god.
I know that's not what they would say, but I thought it was funny.
But what would you rate this movie out of 10? Like, where is this movie at in like your like top anime movies?
I mean, to me, the movie's a 9 out of 10. You know, like the only bullshit part of the movie that I thought there was when Asta and Conrad were fighting, and then Noelle's grimoire shows up out of nowhere, and then that's how Noelle gets her magic back. Like it, but at the same time, though, I was just like, okay, the movie's allowed one piece of bullshit, but that was definitely bullshit. But yeah, I think it's just a 9 out of 10. You know, like I said, I didn't have the nitpick with Asta and Conrad's clash of ideals. I thought Asta presented his case pretty well. I liked all the Wizard Kings. They all had good showings to me, especially with their abilities. The movie was generally funny in a lot of moments. We had that fan service scene with Vanessa.
Man.
You know what scene I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
And yeah, Vanessa really is the one. But but yeah, and I thought we got to see some moments for characters that you normally don't see. You know, like for example, like with Mario Leona, before she did the Hellfire Incarnate, which you wouldn't know the name of that, when she pretty much went like the fire mode, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
That moment where she just had the time to stop and think of everybody that respects her, you know. So with Asta, Yami, the Crimson Lions, Leo, and Frigolion, kind of wish Noelle was a part of that, but it did kind of seem like a men-only group. But either way, though, you know, like that moment, like first of all, that was a beautiful scene. Second of all, that was just great to remind everybody, like, yes, Mariona is a fighter, but she does have people she cares about too. So it's not just about her.
You know, bro, I just had an epiphany just now. Like, you remember when you said people will, like, mistakenly compare Black Clover to Naruto, even though there's nothing like similar about them. I
I
had
don't say
that
nothing. They're
moment.
both shonens.
Well, okay, well, I had that moment because when I saw her, like, her ability, my first thought was Naruto's Kurama mode. And I was like, why did I think this one? And
I
they're
get it.
not the same, but
I give you that one. It's not the same, but with her being on fire, that is pretty funny. I'll give you that.
like, it's two different abilities, both are dope. I don't know why it just dawned on me when I saw it.
It's also two different. Well, it also is two different colors. I mean, I don't know because the Ninetales mode is supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be orange, but it looks yellow.
Oh, I just thought it was yellow the whole time, like maybe like a little hint of orange in there.
I think it's supposed to be orange, but it's like yellow. Either way though, but yeah, with Mara Leona, it's straight orange, like fire.
But I'll say my
So
rating of the movie, I would give it a solid 8.5. Just like I said, even with those nitpicks, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I brought it down to 8.5 because of my 3 nitpicks, but overall, enjoyed the movie a lot. Can't wait. I really hope there's another movie somewhere down the line. Like I feel like Black Clover deserves to have like multiple movies, be a multi-movie series.
well, and this is the thing I wanted to bring up, and like it'll be like the small, quick thing for me, I guess, um, because with Black Clover running annually, right?
Mm-hmm.
Normally, for like the manga sales and everything like that, what happens is the anime comes out, the manga gets a quick boost due to the fact that like there's the trailer and all this promotion and stuff going into it. But as the show goes on, you really don't have that time to keep doing those. Well, one, you don't have time for trailers because, well, you can't do a trailer on something that doesn't exist yet. Uh, with promotions and stuff, there are other animes that keep cycling through, so it kind of goes to them. So when it comes to this moment, it should have happened sooner. Black Clover should have had a movie much sooner, but I just don't think the studio could have done one because this is the first movie from Studio Pierrot since the Boruto movie, which is almost what 8 years ago.
It's been that long.
So
Wow.
I just think, yeah, that Boruto movie came out a long time ago.
It doesn't feel that long though.
That Boruto movie came out what year is this? 2023.
Yeah.
That Boruto movie had to come out like 2017 or 18.
That still was a pretty wow. Here I thought it was just yesterday. God damn. Time flies.
Because the last Naruto movie came out in 2014. So I think that Boruto movie came out like 2000. Let's see here, 2015. Yeah, 8 years. So that's a long time, man.
Jesus.
So I just think that it just feels like with Black Clover's luck, that's where it would fall into. Like, hey, you technically should have a movie. This technically should be like the second movie for your series, but due to your studio, you can't. They just couldn't do it. So yeah, I just think that's kind of funny. But nah, I just think with that, and then also the fact that Shueisha did this whole Netflix thing, it just, it just felt like Black Clover keeps having to be the litmus test for how things should work, and in this case, it really succeeded.
Yeah, cause like I'm cool with the Netflix thing because we saw how long it was trending when it came out. So I'm hoping that this movie is like the first stepping stones in the resurgence of Black Clover. Like we will get to see that triumphant return, and this movie is evidence that people want to see this. Like people want more Black Clover content. They want the show to come back. So I feel
Yeah.
like this movie is like the launching pad for that, like the true launching pad. 'Cause I think when we got the announcement when the show ended, people were like, "Oh, it's never coming back." But I feel like with this movie, there's a good chance that it will. I think when the series ends and everything is done, that's probably the perfect time to bring it back. Because the story's done in the manga, so you don't have to worry about catching up to the manga anymore because it's done. So you really can like really pour your like all your energy into this show.
I mean, the manga's not over. I think I misheard that. So you're saying when the show comes back, more than likely the manga will be done?
I feel like once the manga ends, that would be a great time to bring it back.
Well, I mean, hopefully we still got at least two. Hopefully we have at least 3 years of the manga, but at the earliest I can see it ending would probably be like 2 years. So I just think when it comes down to the series, once it ends, like it will help. And I think with the anime, I mean with the movie, it did show people who want the anime to come back. So and I feel like Bleach didn't have that because when Bleach ended, the Hellverse movie already. I'm thinking the Hellverse movie already came out by the time the Bleach anime ended. But with the Black Clover anime being wrapped up for the time being, and then this movie coming out, and then the fact that it had success in theaters, even though it was so limited. It had the success on Netflix Japan specifically, being number one for like 4 days in a row, even while new movies were coming out. You know what I'm saying? Um, the fact that worldwide it placed top five at least, or top two. I think it was like the second most watched movie on Netflix in the world, like 2 days straight, and it was still in the top three for Netflix for like an entire week. So I think it really does go to show, like, yes, this is a series people will watch, and this is a series people still like, and I just think for a lot of people, they're waiting for the anime to come back. Me being one of them, you being another one. So,
See, I think last comment I'm done. In Bleach's case, I feel like it was because like it was gone for so long that people just thought it was never coming back, and I don't want Black Clover to have to go through that same thing. Like, I want people to believe like I want it to come back, and I think it will, but I don't think it's gonna take the same amount of time Bleach did.
nah, I mean, they already announced the stage play for the series, um, so that should have been happened too. But it's still a thing that shows like, hey, people still want to see the series. So I think honestly, when the stage plays hit, I think the stage plays in like September or some
Or
shit
you know
like
be
that.
fucked up, like they make an announcement like, "Oh, Black Clover is coming," and then it turns out to be like a live action adaptation.
I mean, technically that's what the stage plays, but
I mean, that's a bit different though.
I mean, it is, but I mean, ironically enough, it is a similar thing with the stage play.
Get that
But
One
no,
Piece
when it
treatment.
comes down, yeah, that would be funny. But when it comes down to it, I just feel like with the series, we'll probably get it back. The anime series, we'll probably get it back. Probably 2025, maybe. So I feel like with this movie, it showed the demand.
Man, if everything works out well, like 2025 is gonna be a really good year. Like, just imagine that. Like, get Black Clover back. Hopefully, we get GTA 6. That'd be gonna be just those two things. Just give me that in 2025. Now, just be like the happiest person.
Uh, sure, me too. But yeah,
Oh my god! I forgot you
wait,
never.
I don't. I'm about to
Oh
say, I don't play GTA.
yeah,
So.
I forgot. My bad. My bad.
Like only thing I do on GTA is mess up all your money because I mess around and get you killed a bunch. But but yeah, so that's pretty much it for this episode. Like you said, the movie, great movie. Um, you know, really good anime movie. If I had to, I have no idea where I would actually place it in like my favorite anime movies all time. I would actually have to go back and just kind of. There's some movies I feel like I'd have to go rewatch to really really remember fully why I love those movies. But yeah, so great film. A lot of people enjoyed it. It had good success despite some of the roadblocks in its way. But yeah, great times. Great to have it.
Okay.
Great to see the boys back in animation.
I can hear you like humming that song. The boys are back in town.
You know what I'm saying? My boy Conrad, the drip was clean.
I really do think like you're going to contemplate cosplay, and maybe not this year, maybe like next year you might consider it.
Bruh, I doubt anybody's making a cosplay for that complicated ass costume.
Okay, wait. If you give it a year, I feel like you would like at least try. You made the attempt.
Maybe I could, and then I ain't gonna commission that because that's gonna be a lot of money. So yeah, no, no. Not to mention I gotta fill out a lot more. I gotta get my muscles in. Gotta get that toxic masculinity popping.
Man, I feel that.
Oh, that'll be the last thing. It's the last time we see Asta with the toxic masculinity outfit.
For now.
No, it's just the last time.
Oh man, but any last remarks, Mike?
Yeah, if you already watched the movie, be sure to go watch it again. You have the opportunity. It's on Netflix. Literally, it's the best thing. I probably watched the movie like 4 times by now. And yeah, if you're excited for Black Clover's return, put it in the comment section. If you want to give your thoughts on the movie, put it in the comment section. If you want to just say that Conrad's outfit was cool, put it in the comment section. Princey, your best girl. Comment section.
With the funniest last name.
Comment section. Or if you want to just talk about the fact that Yami is a damsel in distress. He's a delicate flower.
Oh my God.
Put in the comment section. But yeah, so let's talk about the movie. Just talk to us in general. But if you're watching this on like Spotify, if you're listening to this on Spotify or any of the other podcast places that we have the podcast on, hit us up on Twitter, Black Heroes 5, Instagram, Black Heroes 5, and I feel like I repeated myself a bunch just now. But yeah, so come talk to us about the film or just talk to us in general.
Well, Mike, I started this podcast as vice captain of the Black Panther squad, and I think I ended it. I got promoted to captain now, so I am very getting closer to being the next Wizard King. So you better get your game up, man. And remember, everyone, surpass your limits. And remember this: your magic is never giving up. Peace.
Also, just in case you get your ass kicked, you get bloodied up, just remember to wash your ass.
Wow.
Look,
All
you
right,
gotta wash
y'all.
the blood stains off of you. Peace.